Today's the day. Today is the day, y'all. I'm talking about my shroom experience. Yay! Yay, yay, yay. My name is Divine, and if you smoke, roll up, get your J, get your wine, get your coffee, whatever you do to get comfortable. I'm gonna need you to pause right now, get comfy, and then come back. Okay, cool. I'll give you a second. Okay. I'm just gonna be real. Like, this is gonna be one of the deepest videos you've ever watched. The deepest video I've ever recorded so far. And if you're seeing this, it's not a mistake. The universe, it feels like I literally cannot rest until I talk about this. Like, because I'm trying to find, if I've reached a level of deep and I don't talk about that deep, then I'm never gonna meet people on that level of deep. It's just gonna be something I keep in here. And next week I'm taking like the biggest dose because of like this beautiful woman I met online, and we live in the same city, so we were like, yeah. And I said, there's no way it's that easy to find your people. Like, are you telling me my people are on the other side of a screen? Like, are you telling me that? Is that what you're telling me? Is that the big whoop? That's what's going on in the universe? My people are online. I'm not crazy. Wow. So we're so focused on like the physical. We're so focused on the 3D. You don't realize that it takes more than the 3D for you to meet the people that you actually want to meet. So, obviously, I'm a teacher and a student, but I'm going to write down a few reasons as to why I don't want to share this shroom experience. Like, we're actually friends. Like, if you've seen this, we've definitely met in another life. Like, I'm just being so real. Like, everything you're about to hear will actually change your perspective. Like, you will definitely want to do shrooms. You'd think that I'm marketing shrooms or something. Like, I should actually be selling something. Like, if I was like selling a product or something, everybody would buy it. So I know that, like, the illusion of lack and everything like that is just an illusion. It's in the mind. I have everything that I need. And I feel like I've been looking for this one way for things to go, in a sense of like, well, I can write a book and I can make money through that and all of that. But, first of all, those things take time, actually writing the book, publishing the book, and then getting it out. And then, all of that stuff. And I thought, what if this whole money thing that, is embedded in everybody's minds, the one thing you don't want to do is the fastest way to make it. It's the most natural way because you're being the most authentic. And what if me sharing my shroom trip like opens doors to things I can't even imagine right now? Like, all of these dreams and ambitions came from me doing shrooms. And I smoke weed as well. Obviously, we're gonna smoke together. But my point is, like, if you do smoke, you're gonna catch a lot of things here. You're gonna understand me on a much, much deeper level. Now, obviously, if you don't smoke, I think you were brought to me just so that your mind is reframed when it comes to smoking, especially if you've smoked before and you don't do it anymore. Or maybe you've just never done it. I have learned that the universe had, if I surrender to all possibilities, I'm gonna attract all types of people like me that don't look like me, that don't act like me, but we think the same, we feel the same. And I'm just gonna have to trust and believe that. And I already know that, like, this money thing is an illusion, and money's gonna crash one day. So anyway, it's been a year since the first time I took shrooms, so I'm going to share with you guys my first shroom experience, what it's been like. I ate them on the 30th of July 2023, and then but it was the 31st at around 3 a.m. that I had ego death, all of those things. I had basically 2 trips in a space of like 8 hours, and it was amazing. And throughout this past year, I'm recording this on the 4th of July 2024 now, and I've been saying for so long to myself, like, I've never had anybody to share this shroom trip with, because nobody's that deep. You know, my mother is very religious, so, and we're gonna get into all of that, right? This is my story, and it feels like the universe is telling me, you need to talk about it, like, you need to share this. First of all, people are going to want to hear what you have to say. Second of all, it's not necessarily about the fear of being perceived, but I'm going to show you guys just how much my mother has been like embedded into my subconscious, and I just have to free myself. Like I have to free myself. And the shroom showed me, you are already free. It's the 3D that you allow to bind you. And I don't know, y'all. Like, I just want all of our eyes to open together. Like, I'm gonna watch this video back so many times, and I just felt like I wasn't allowed to share my story. I felt like I don't matter. You know, I felt like even if I do share it, nobody's gonna care, nobody's gonna listen. You know, all of these things that didn't start with me. And when I did the shrooms, like, this past year has just been a realization that, like, I'm not living the life I want to live. I'm just not. And like, the more that I hide this shroom experience, the worse the act gets. That I realize that I'm never gonna meet my people, and that I'm never gonna activate that type of deepness in people if I don't speak. And there's 8 billion people in the world. Like, it's actually not that crazy for an amount of people to see this video, to be interested in somebody who's done shrooms, to be like, I want to hear what she has to say, and she's saying I can roll up, like, this is my type of person. So for the past year, I've been writing dreams and ambitions and desires of my heart. I wrote down all the nations of the world, and you know, that's actually impossible considering what's in my bank account. Considering, like, I had suicidal thoughts up until October, and I'm going to tell you guys how that all changed for me, how I only hear like one voice now, and like how, you know, if you don't rise above your demons, like, they will make you want, they'll feel like life will just feel like you have to kill yourself to get rid of those voices. And I kind of did die in a way. I feel like I've died so many times. Anyway, so I was in Manchester, and there was this tree, and this was over a year ago, but I just wanted to start this video saying that because I feel like now that I know I can do what I want, like, this moment genuinely feels like my moment. It feels like I'm letting you guys into my world. It feels like we are formulating a reality together, and I want you guys to kind of unwind and just realize anything is possible. Like, I know that you don't know me, but you do know me. And what's so crazy is even with all of these fears that I was talking about, I have never met somebody that has said, I don't want to hear what you have to say. When I, like, if we go on my TikTok right now, if we go, and bear in mind, I will talk about all of this. I made new social media, all of this, because I'm like, bro, life is fucking fake. What I'm living right now anyway, like this hellish realm, and everybody that I meet. So like, even somebody just texted me and told me that they want to be my friend. I hope this doesn't make you feel uncomfortable. I sense a connection, and maybe one day our paths will cross. Like, 239 followers, 291 following, and 8,766 likes. Like, There's nothing about me that's like, it's just poetry, my face, you know, all of these different things. And I realized like the reason that I feel like I can't share who I am is because of everything that I was told, how my reality has been formed, not how I want my reality to be. So I'm seeing all of these comments. I want to be friends with you so bad. You said it from heart language. Thanks for sharing, Divine. Do you have a YouTube or a podcast? You just gave the words I could not make. Wow, I've been trying to find a way to put it into words for so long. Beautiful. You definitely need to spread this message far and wide. The reprogramming debate is needed in our community. You inspire me to post more things like this. I'm constantly thinking about this stuff, but scared to post my personal thoughts. I love this so much. Like, I'm even inspiring people to post their own thoughts. Like, I'm telling you, like, if you have no drive in life right now, after this video, you actually you're gonna realize life is worth living. So I needed to know, why is my phone pinging? Anyway, so I wrote, what are you waiting for? And I wrote on the back, I put one on the tree, and then I wrote one to take home. And I've been wondering why I've been holding on to it since, and this is the answer. The connections to expand my creativeness and heal others in the process. That's what I wrote. And it feels like I finally got the connections to expand my creativeness, and heal myself and heal others in the process. There's no point in trying to save the world. Like, I want to save myself first. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna get into, Jesus and all that, but like, I'm just kind of over this assumption that we will have, he died for our sins, like, repent and hell, and like, he can come and tell me that myself. And what's crazy, what he told me had nothing to do with sin. It just felt like he said, like, your faith has made you well. Now show everybody that show everybody that you're God. Like, we're all God. We're all Jesus. Like, he said, like, don't look for my face. Look in the mirror. I didn't take time to make your face for you to tell everybody about sin and hell. Like, there's people that talk about God, and then there's people that have met God. So I hope you realize in this that I have met God. Like, everybody has. You just don't remember. It's the realm of forgetfulness that we're living in. So let me write down a few reasons. That's a teacher in me. I need to write down a few reasons as to why I don't want to share this shroom experience. Because they're all carnal fears anyway. Am I right? Um, I need money. Because I'm trying to go from the top of my head. I said my mom will see, it's too personal, and I need money. We'll start with those three. So if I'm always caring about my mother seeing, I'm never gonna do anything. Never gonna post anything. I just got another one. I'll just write them down as we go, and then we can talk about it. My mother's always hyperfixated on me. I'm an only child, so that's evident in the way that I carry myself, just maturity wise. And I've had a lot of time to develop faster than a lot of other people, but that's what I chose. That's what I came here to do, to go first. The point is that I'm not going to justify psychological abuse just because I chose this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to justify the fact that she would go through my phone in my sleep. Like, it's not that I can't be out there, that people don't want to see me. It's that I can't even look at myself without thinking, I remember what my mother said. Like, I have to really release myself from all of that. Even from the fact that she doesn't like mushrooms, from the fact that she doesn't like smoking, that she doesn't like my locks, she doesn't like my piercing, she doesn't like my tattoos, she doesn't like... I don't even know what she likes about me, if I'm being so real. But then the worst part is that, you know, when the lie becomes reality, so she'll convince herself that she finds me beautiful. So she'll say I'm beautiful, and it just sounds like the emptiest words I've ever heard. Every time we text, yeah, we only text really on phone, like, we only really text, we don't really talk. And if she wants to call me beautiful, she'll say it online, like she'll say text message, even though we live together. So it's been really hard trying to deprogram and reprogram in the, like, I've actually picked the hardest assignment. Not the hardest assignment, but it's not about the level of hard, it's about the lessons that you get. And talking about these things, yeah, that's the other thing that I was concerned about. The church saying, you know, you can't talk about Jesus and smoke weed and all of that, bro. Like, I'm actually realizing that only people on my frequency can see me. Even if you're not aware that you're on this level of frequency, that you can know this level of deep, even if you've never done shrooms and you're watching this, it's because every single one of you have the capacity to know. Some of you are going to microdose, that already have. Some of you are going to microdose and listen to this. Some of you are going to smoke weed for the first time and listen to this. Like, I want to be somebody that people can try new things with. I want to be somebody that someone else can binge throughout, because, like, I'm that person for myself. And all you need to move forward is to hear somebody else say it. And the way that the divine represented himself to me was as Jesus, because there was already so much stigma about him, that if he presented himself to me in like a very wholesome and just the way that he wants to be presented in my life, you know, it was fine, because I hadn't heard anything good about Jesus anyway. So it was like, well, he has nothing to lose by presenting himself to me in a different way. Do you know what I mean? So, but that was another thing. Like, I didn't want to talk about Jesus. I didn't want to talk about God. Because I've literally seen too many worlds, and I know that the church has really hurt people. And then I realized, oh, well, the church isn't me. Everybody that has trauma from church, just things that they have within and that they can't talk about, I've literally told the universe, like, lead them to me. Everybody in the LGBTQIA plus community that feels like, you know, what's going on in my life, like, you know, bring them to me. Like, we are one, and there is a life outside of my parents. And the fact that I know that, and I have experienced that, I have lived that while being in the house, already says enough about my character and how much more growing can I do still being in my mother's house. Like, imagine what it's going to be like when I leave. And like, I didn't move back for fun. You know, I moved back to realize just how many problems there were. And the fact, the more that I tried to hide it, like, the worse that it got. So I was like, and me saying that it's too personal is because I've never shared it with anybody. I've shared parts of it. So I'll share one part of the trip, depending on how deep they are, and then I'll share like another part of the trip. I've never fully shared it. And the first time, so let's get comfy, y'all. Sit down. It's about to get crazy. All right. So y'all, I'm gonna be honest. I thought it was gonna be a lot more nerve-wracking than this to talk about my shroom trip. But I'm realizing, like, this reality is mine. But yeah, don't know if you've started rolling or not, but either way, get to doing it. Get comfy, do something productive. If you need to multitask, anything you need to do, I just want you to see me as somebody you already know, because you already know me. You just need to remember now. So I actually ate them outside in nature, and then that was the first trip. I came back here, I smoked a J, and then I had another trip that was like the ego death. But it couldn't have happened without the other one. And then one, like, they had to both happen, if that makes sense. It felt like a heroic dose. Honestly, it did. It was on my first trip. Well, that's because I also prepared for them. I like subconsciously prepared for shrooms because I had a friend who had already done them and he really enjoyed them. So we were always talking about them. I had watched people on YouTube talk about their shroom experiences, and I had written some poetry just about, I was like, you know, I need to prepare myself to do shrooms. And I was ready to embrace like whatever trauma was gonna come out. And I did. The other point I wrote as to why I don't want to share is I'm not ready. Bro, I think I'm actually going to like, yeah, time to put that ringer on silent because it feels like I'm trying to be thrown off, y'all. Like, this is a really deep experience for me. Like, everything that you see and feel is because of that one trip. And I was going to wait until the universe aligned me with somebody in the physical to share that with. But I think the reason why they haven't is because I meant to record it and be aligned online. Like, there are just some people you'll meet online that you'll never meet in real life because you're not in the same country. It would take longer to meet, and it doesn't mean that it's impossible. It just means that social media right now is the best way to meet. It's the divine reframe for a reason. Like, everything is getting reframed for me. Like, everything in the 3D, including social media, realizing how powerful it is, how beautiful it is. Like, the way that it used to look before is so different to the way it is now. I enjoy going on TikTok. Like, I don't scroll for ages. Like, each one I'm going like so slowly, and I'm like, wow, I really needed this one. I'll end up having a conversation with somebody about this one TikTok, and then I'm sending it to this person, and I make a TikTok about it, and then people are commenting on that. And you know, when you spend so long being with the wrong people, you forget that once you meet people on your frequency, you will be excited to do these things. It's why, you know, there's love making and then there's grape, sorry. There's love making and then there's grape. It's like same act, different frequencies, completely different frequencies. Social media can be the worst thing ever and the best thing ever. Life itself can be the worst thing ever and the best thing ever. And it's the second part of the shroom trip that I never shared with anybody. And I've got 2 videos I'll put them in clips, but as I'm talking, and just put them where they fit so you understand, you know, how much I changed physically. You get to kind of laugh at it as well with me. There's a few videos that aren't saved, but I think that's for a reason. So the person that I did shrooms with, I don't talk to anymore, but I will explain why. Because if you are not ready to face who you are on shrooms, and it's not for everybody, I'm just saying for me that it means that there's like an aspect about myself that I'm not ready to uncover yet. So like, I remember there was one time, and it was very tiny. I must have eaten like a gram and nothing happened. It was like 5 a.m. But it was like the shrooms were just going to tell me what I was ignoring. Like, I was ignoring how depressed I was. This must have been in like Feb of this year, 2024, and I was in the middle of an argument in here that had nothing to do with me, and I was being consumed by it, and I was like what's going on, you know? And the mushrooms are like, girl, you already know what's going on. You already know that there's something happening in the spiritual here. Like, you don't need to be on shrooms to know that. So I know so many people who have eaten like 3 grams and they felt nothing, because you already know. Like, they're not going to tell you anything new. Like, I genuinely know that mushrooms are conscious. And if you are refusing them, they are also refusing you. When I've, you know, I've had a lot of friends, and they've said, you know, weed is really bad and what it did to me and things like that. And like, when I realized that weed was conscious, like, weed was like, yeah, like, y'all blame me for so many things. I ain't done nothing. Like, imagine blaming a plant, like a plant blaming a plant. That's what we always do, though. We like to blame. We don't take accountability. So I really just want to take accountability in this story. I don't want to hold anything back. Like, I don't want to not share the joy that I felt. Like, it's so funny how I'm starting with the most intimate experience. Like, I'm that eager to get it out subconsciously. I'm so eager to talk about it. Anyways, at this point in time, it was, I'll just start from when me and my friend were walking home. He's not spiritual at all, and he's a little bit older than me, and that's why I genuinely believed it was the universe. Like, they just wanted me to do shrooms for this experience. That's why I'm starting with what happened in this room, because I was so depressed in this room. I hated it here. And I realized I was afraid to say the entire time it was the relationship I was having with me and my mother. It was having this knock-on effect. And the more that I ignored what she was doing to me, and the more I let it happen, the worse it would get, the more depressed I would get. And when I was 10 years old, life was really bad. And like, I just said out loud, I was like, God, if life is still bad at 20, like, I'm taking myself out. Like, I'm done. And so from like 10 up until October, and I'll tell you guys how that happened later, but I just always heard voices. It was like multitudes of voices. I talked about this in my first video. Multitudes of voices. It was like when you go to a concert and there's loads of people. That's how many it felt like were in my head. And the only thing that I could hear most of the time is, you're gonna die, you're gonna die. And a lot of the time I was able to jump into like these different conversations. Like, I would have one conversation, and then it was like I had one foot in the spirit realm and another foot in the physical realm, but my veil was torn. So it was too dark that I wasn't aware that I'm a light worker. I'm just kind of in the dark. I didn't know that I meant to go through it. But I did know I was meant to go through it, because why did I give it 10 years to die? It's almost like now I've forced the darkness of the night, the darkness of the soul, which is a period of time where it's just very dark in your life, and you go through that suffering to be molded and realize that even when you feel like you're broken, you're not broken, because you're still breathing. Like, the fact that you still have breath. Like, but we've descended so much into lower realms that we don't think that breath is enough confirmation that we are alive, or just that breath is enough confirmation that life is not over for us, that there is more. Because if we do not give each other breath, and there is something in the spiritual realm that is the reason why I have breath, then it's not up to my mother or you or anybody in our lives. It's up to us. There's somebody else giving us breath. There's somebody else sustaining me. And I don't know why I said that to God at 10 years old. Like, I did grow up in the church, but I didn't agree with their ways at all. But I'll tell you, I've always been a listener. Not water making me choke. I've always been a listener. So I even like growing up in church, it took me years to be in like children's church, you know, when they separate it out, like the adults have their sermon and then the children have theirs. I was never with the children. I was always going into the main one to sit with my mother. But it wasn't about my mother. I just wanted to hear what the pastor was saying. Like, I was genuinely interested. I always knew God was real, but I never, if that Sunday, it's that Sunday, I won't lie, like I did get a bit of peace. Like, I didn't feel crazy. And I had so many notebooks. I am such a scribe. I write poetry all the time. Well, I write all the time. You can kind of see that. But yeah, they're all gone. Like, my mom's thrown them away. But I do know that we have perfect recall. Like, we're just not using 100% of our brains. And on shrooms, it just felt like I was using 100%. So we're holding hands. We're walking home now. Like, I held his hand and like I just started talking about so many things from the time that I ate them. I was seeing so many different things. Like, I have never seen nature more green. It was so alive that I'm telling you, I could hear the wind. I could hear everything. I could see everything. The cars, like everything was just so and that was the first time I learned how to breathe. Like, I could feel my lungs, like it was like, oh my God, like this is exactly what I've been waiting for. And the only message that I had was life was worth living. That was the one thing that was going on over and over. Life is worth living. Life is worth living. I was like, ah!
It's gonna be 40 minutes
I am
this
ready
morning,
to take on
amen?
this new journey.
And so I want to just kind of set the table for what this thing looks like. Amen. Why don't you get out your notes and get out your Bibles right now? I want to look at this from just the terminology, relationship goals. Everybody say relationship goals. Say it one more time like you mean it. Relationships. Okay, so how many would say they have some relationship goals? Like, there's some things that you desire in relationship. Look, people scared to look their hand like, I don't know.
Because I'm not the same person. How many people
have some relationship goals?
I mean,
friends, family, marriage. You have goals in your relationship. I really think a lot of people understand the relationship part of it. They understand that they want to be connected with somebody. They understand that they want to walk and talk with somebody. But the goal part, I think, is a little misconstrued or a little distorted. And I want to look at the definition of goal. Okay?
I needed to do my hair.
Result or achievement towards which an effort is directed. So effort has to be directed to reach a goal. It's the aim or it's the end. Now, I look at this because no matter if you're single, you're married, you're divorced, it's complicated,
crazy.
You're a stalker. I don't care what level of relationship that you are in right now. God wants you to have successful relationships. This whole series is so that you can win
God was speaking to me.
But
I don't care about anything. My friend did not have that revelation. Before I ate the shrooms, I said, God, I need wisdom. So I'm actually putting it together. Do you see how crazy that is? That at 10 years old, I said, God, I'm giving you 10 years. And I'm dead. Here I am at 20. I know I'm 20, right? You're 20? I am beyond my years, but I am also realizing that this is the best time of my life. And if I just need to find people online or attract my tribe that will help me realize to like get out of your own head. Like, it's so easy to move out. It's so easy. You don't need a 9-to-5. Money goes around all the time. You know, just get out of your own head. You know, you're kind of codependent with your mother and it's okay, right? Like, at least you can acknowledge what's going on and move forward. Do you know what I mean? And if me taking charge of my life is me sharing my most intimate experience, then that's just gonna be what it's gonna be, because I've hid it for a year and it hasn't done anything. But like, you can seriously see the effects. Like, when I walk around in my area, like, the people don't recognize me unless they take a double take. And like, you know, for clarity, like, when my mom was pregnant with me, she had a voice in her head, it was obviously her higher self, tell herself, you need to name your baby Divine. She was like, no. Then the voice said, you need to name your baby Joy. She said, no. My father said, name her Kim. She was like, okay, Kim. So that's not to say, because I needed to be Kim. Like, I needed to be in that reality to know truly what suffering was. But once I understood that I'm not even living the life I'm meant to be living, I'm not living in the divine dimensions, and my life is not joy, because you didn't feel any joy when you realized you were pregnant with me. And, you know, when you're rejected in the womb, you just kind of assume that you're going to be rejected in real life because you receive the thoughts of everything your mother was thinking. And when I found that out, I was like, yeah, well, that's great. But it doesn't stay that way. So I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, for a long time, like, my mother, I was kind of just like this copy of my mother. And, you know, I don't know, I just never felt like me. And I remember the first time she told me that, I was like, listen, like, Divine, I could never be that. The thought of it was just like, but she couldn't think that far, do you know what I mean? Kim didn't think she could go anywhere. So when I understood there's infinite versions of me, I'm like, oh, I only know 3 of them? 3 out of infinity? Everybody around me only knows fucking 1. So it's not that crazy. Like, I'm gonna just find people that understand that. Like, you need to watch your Marvel films and realize this shit is real, right? Doctor Strange is my favorite film because everything he can do, I can do. I just have to choose to remember. And it's like, when I was on shrooms, I was having too many revelations at once. I don't even remember all of them. That's how deep it was, like. And my friend, he had no visuals. He couldn't really see anything the way that I was seeing it. And he laughed at me when I said, God, I need wisdom. So, it's not that I just brought out the God within me. You know, the kingdom of God is within. So I start seeing everything the way God sees it. I'm like, oh my God, like, you know. And then he gave me some green. I went home, I rolled up, and then I'm gonna insert those videos. They're so hilarious. I was kind of just starfishing on my bed, which I obviously don't have anymore.
I used to care so much about how I looked. That God said it's not good. I have to ask myself, do I love myself? I mean, the very first time, you know, you tell your children,
do you love yourself?
That's not good.
Makeup off.
You tell people, don't eat that. That's not good. We found the first time God said it wasn't good. So let me help you paint this picture. Genesis chapter 1 verse 3. God says, let there be light. Creates light, and he says,
sit with yourself,
it's good.
Do you love yourself?
Then we go to Genesis
and in this God loves me, he sends me people who love me in my mess. But he has to send me people so I know that it's a mess.
Then he makes vegetation, broccoli, spinach, kale, all of those things.
All before the person.
He looks over and says, that is going to make some good soul food.
So my place is the work that I'm going to be in tomorrow.
Then verse 18, he says, let me go ahead and make a differentiation between day and night. Here's the sun, here's the moon. And then he looked over it and he said, it's good. Now y'all got to help me preach this. He said,
thinking, I can't wait for work tomorrow.
Then he made the sea creatures, Willie, Nemo. He made everybody in that moment. He looked at all of them and he said, and I deserve to experience life. I'm scared of tripping even more, but I think I'm meant to trip more with God right now. Looked back and he said, "It's good." Look at Genesis chapter 2, verse 18. Then the Lord God said, I don't really want to sleep. After he made man, it's not good. I'm just gonna create. I'm gonna exist because I can just exist and without neglecting myself. I can exist in the space and do what I want. Everything's good. And I have somebody that loves me for me. In his image, in his likeness. I know what love is because the Son has set me free, and whoever the Son has set free shall be free indeed. Listen. I mean, who actually was there to say you messed up? I gotta stop there.
Like, you can just see I look drastically different for a year, is what I'm saying. You know, drastically different. No bed. It's now very much an office. It's giving office. Even though, like, my mother bought me a physical sofa bed, and like, it's just evident of how much luggage I have in my mind that I'm being given and didn't ask for. Like, I know you guys won't get it. You're like, what? You know, how you not grateful for a sofa bed? But if you knew who she was, you would know she didn't buy it for me. And, you know, this God, she makes me believe that God doesn't exist. Like, I know he's so real, but every time, like, the conversation, you know, behind her eyes, I feel like I'm the child. Like, I don't know what happened to her, but she's just, you know. And I just try to act like it didn't bother me, that we have no connection, and she would rather like buy me food than just sit and talk with me. You know, I'm the one that told her that I smoke when I was like 18. Man, Kim was such a baddie, I'm just telling you. But she couldn't think past 20 because of that deadline that she gave herself. Like, life and death is really in the power of the tongue. So it wasn't really Kim that asked for wisdom, it was joy. And so when I was on shrooms, all I could feel was joy. I couldn't even feel his negative energy at the time, that he couldn't see any visuals. He didn't realize life was worth living. But I was talking so much that this is me who came out. It was so, I was touching all the leaves. I could feel the wind. Like, I could hear the song. Everything sounded like a song. And I hadn't listened to worship. So I stopped going to church like 3 years ago. And I did listen to worship, but I didn't like listening to worship because I would like cry and then I'd go back to my life. But I know that's not how it's meant to be. You're meant to like fuel yourself with music. So I just felt this strong urge to listen to worship. And then, yeah, it was great. You know, I actually really like fully understood what love was. It wasn't about what he could or couldn't give me. It was about what I had. And I was like, wow, I have so much to give. Like, I can't hide all of this. So I come home and the first thing I did was hug my mother. She must have thought maybe I just smoked or something. And the first question she asked me was, what's wrong? And that was the first day that was the first time the scales came off my eyes, and I said, nothing. Like, she's always gonna find something wrong, because there's always something wrong with her life. There is nothing. She says that she's grateful to God, but it's just white lies. And I've met so many people this year since I went to church, and they have this coat of self-righteousness that says, you know, I go to church every Sunday, so I you know, I'm good. But you're crying on the inside, like you're actually depressed. I'm a manifestation of my parents. They're both depressed, but they will never say that. They will cover it with God is good. I don't know if my dad believes in God anymore, to be honest. Probably not. I don't know. Like, he doesn't speak to me. And with good reason, because he's not my kind of deep. Like I said, if they want to fix it in the future, that's absolutely fine. But I've spent 20 years trying to change them. And when I did shrooms, I realized, oh wow, they just think everything is wrong with them. That's why I always thought something was wrong with me. I was like, wow, there's nothing wrong with me. That's literally, I was like, nothing. Like, at first I would have been like, why does she always think something's wrong? Like, now I'm looking for something wrong. But I was like, wow, nothing is wrong. And she was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. And then I think I went to my room, and I don't remember if it was, trying to think if well, she's not my aunt, but like, I just say these things out of respect, and I'm learning that you've got to be really careful with your words. Don't like put yourself in hot pepper soup just because you want to be respectful. So I come to my room, I smoke the J, and I have like a worship playlist on Spotify. I'm gonna put it, but the playlist I want you guys to listen to is called Healing Morning, and oh, it's just so good. I'm gonna put that below, shuffle it or listen to it in order. I need to add so many new songs to it, but I just forgot that everything is a song. Everything is a song. Everything is a song, like, and even an orgasm is a song. And I'm so tired of being around people who just, they're okay with just not living. Because it makes you feel like, well, I shouldn't live then. But that's not true. You do want to live. It's just the people that you're fucking around that make you feel like, I don't want to live. And I really took this year to realize that. I said, wow, like if you don't leave your environment, you'll be consumed by it. Like, it's the reason Truman was scared to go on the boat. But really and truly, they wouldn't let him go on the boat anyway. He wasn't allowed to leave. Then you got to think about, why won't my mother let me leave? What does she see that I don't? She sees the success, and she feels very guilty about how she's treated me, which is why she'll buy the sofa bed, why she'll buy things that I don't eat anymore. She doesn't know me at all, and she has chosen not to. And I don't have to hide that. I don't have to justify why she did or didn't. And I don't have to respond to a fake relationship because it makes me feel like I have a fake one with myself. I don't need to come back home and hear "you're dark" after I chose to get a tan when I went outside. Just because you hate your skin color doesn't mean that I have to. Just because you hate yourself doesn't mean that I have to. And just because you feel guilty at the fact that you weren't ready to have this child, that you grew up telling me everything you wanted to do instead of having me, and then you wonder why I didn't want to be close with you as a teenager. I spent all of my time outside of the house, which actually was an amazing time, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, I've got some story times. That love for photography, the poetry that came from the pits of pain, like, you know, I've grown so much. And it was all without her. She did not help me grow, but it was her pain that helped me grow. It was the lack of help that helped me grow. It was what pushed me, you know. Maybe if I was comfortable, I would have never done mushrooms and things like that, but I don't think so. I think I've always been that deep. I've always wanted to know about mind-altering things. I've always wanted to think beyond everything that I can see. I always like finding out. I love seeking knowledge, but you know, though you're getting understanding, but it's like, I'm actually kind of worth listening to. Anyway, so the ego death began when the worship began, And to be honest, like, you have to understand, like, mushrooms cannot really be fully explained. So I'm just going to go with what I remember. And, you know, Imagine Me by Kirk Franklin. Imagine me being free, trusting you totally. Finally, I can imagine me. So I didn't realize at the time I was also singing to my higher self, but I met God, obviously. I knew about God and Jesus because of growing up in church. But and I thank God for it. It was good foundations, but it's just not the foundation. It's just not what I want to build on. Yeah. Like, I choose to know God in a different way, and if they have a problem with that, that's okay. But only people in my frequency can see me. And, you know, I'm only going to be on this earth for a certain amount of time, and I just have to share my deep things. I just have to talk. It just burns. It burns. It burns, y'all. Like, I literally, if I don't share this, it's just all that I think about, because I'm like, bro, like, I know somebody wants to hear it. Like, I'm just around the wrong fucking people. And I am, because I told you guys that I'm doing shrooms next week. I'm doing 6 grams. Yeah, with someone I met on TikTok. Like, bro, everything is so intentional. Like, my TikTok is not something to be played with. Like, my social media, I fully believe that everything aligns now for me. Like, when I stepped into who is divine, she's so creative, she's so fun, and she doesn't hate Joy, she doesn't hate Kim. There's infinite versions of me, and all I have to do is be myself to bring out the people who need to know there are infinite versions of them, that you can literally do anything you want. Like, and like, if I have to quantum jump in different ways, then cool, like, so be it. Like, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Like, you might as well live your life. You know, living for other people hurts. It just hurts. It literally just hurts. Like, how much pain can you take? Like, how much can a heart take when feelings change like phases of the moon? Anyway, that's Yeba and Lucky Day. And so I'm taking the shrooms right here. So just imagine it's like nighttime and there's loads of stars. But I know that looks really nice as well. But yeah, don't judge about the curtain. I realize nobody cares though. It's my life, and you know, nobody can actually tell my experiences the way I can. Nobody's lived my life. Like, that's the one thing we all need to remember. Like, when we're afraid to share who we are, nobody has lived your life. We've had similar experiences. We can have similar, we can be in the same tribe, but still, it's your life. You are individually you. Do you know how cool that is? Even twins are individually themselves. Like, bro, we are not mistakes. And I felt like a mistake my whole life. And if I just had to make this video to let somebody know that they're not a mistake, that you're not a mistake, you're not a mistake, it's like giving me chills thinking about it now. I was so scared to go back to that moment. I was like, man, what if I tell somebody? And I don't really care. I didn't even care if I wasn't friends with that person again. Like, I just was dying to share that. And I fully realized how it feels for people who talk when they're drunk. They're dying to share those things. When somebody tells you that they love you when they're drunk, they've been loving you. They just now feel like they can say it. And I said, what if I decided to share just no matter what? Like, what if I just decide to not hold anything in? And that doesn't mean I'll share my whole life. No. I'm talking about things that I actually want to share. Because, yeah, like, I consciously don't want to share my shroom trip. But subconsciously, I'm always going to want to share it. There's always something within that speaks, isn't it? You know, I think everything speaks. So, and now, like, the song's going, and he's like, and imagine God whispering in your ear, letting you know that everything that has happened is now gone, 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 oh, gone. And yeah, that's 4 guns, right? That it felt like this gold light penetrated my chest. Like, I used to feel empty, y'all. I was feeling, but I was numb. And it was like, gone, 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 oh God. It felt like something just completed within me. And then he's like, what your mother did, gone, what your father did, gone. I was like, I was crying, I was sweating, I was going like, because like, I got delivered. That's all I'm saying. Like, things happen. I'm like, like, bro, I wasn't screaming, but like, I'm telling you, like, that baggage left. And it was all through the music and like, just spirit guides helping. I felt so hugged. And then the song ended in, oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na. Dead silence. Everything is black. Everything is black. Bear in mind, I can see the skyline, like I can see London, but it's all black. I don't know who I am. I don't know where I am. I'm just there. I can't see nothing. And then I think it's gonna get better. That's how you know I was tripping. Time does not exist, but there was so many songs and I was just riding with the music. That's all it was. I didn't care. But I completely lost sense of anything. Like, I didn't know who I was. It was all black. Like, and I know that people are gonna also have their interpretations of what all of this means. So I know that talking about it is for my benefit. I'm just giving as much detail as I can. But I've never sweated. You know what I mean? I was dripping. Like, it was like, whew, nah. And then this gold light. So the skyline, I'm seeing the skyline across me, and the gold light is coming from the ground. It's not coming from up there. Bear in mind, it's 3 a.m. at this time. So it starts from one side. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better, better. You're feeling all alone. Your pain is very real. It seems to be no way out. Just look above and deep inside. You can survive. It's gonna get better. Don't give up now, please. It's gonna get better. Just stick around. We've been laying low for a night. But joy will come. There's more, so will you stay? It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. Please don't throw your life away. It's gonna get better, better. You're worth much more than gold, even though you weren't told. Each day is a gift, so wait and watch a miracle unfold. You can survive. Oh my God. I could keep going. It just keeps going. The sun is gonna shine again. Yeah. And I'm seeing the gold light going whoosh, coming from the ground, rising up like, oh my God. And then after a point, I thought my heart was gonna explode. Like, I don't think I saw it for long. But there was a point to when it was getting to the other end, like I couldn't take how much gold light I was seeing. Like I was like, and it just, oh, it was me. I was like, oh my God, the kingdom of God is within. Ah! That happened immediately after those clips that I just inserted. Yeah, my hair, I dyed it that color. That was like, that's red, right? Like, yeah. I dyed it that color the day before I did the shrooms, and I was like, listen, God, like, I'm doing shrooms tomorrow. I'm going to give you my hair. Like, just do what you want with it. Like, I know you can do a better job than me. And since then, it's actually grown rapidly. We've changed it up to like a more blonde. I don't care. Just, I realized, you know, you can cut your hair off. It grows back. But once I really did that, like I haven't told anybody I did that, innit? But it was kind of like a little Samson thing. And it just felt so good because like now everybody's like, and it was so funny because my mother doesn't like them, and she's always, every time it's when certain people touch my hair, my head starts hurting. And I've learned, yeah, you better take them hands off my head now. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? My God. Anyways, I can't lie to you, like, there's this guy and he just talks to me way too much. Like, it's giving, I'm feeling a void. Miss me with that. Yeah? Miss me with that. The level of deep that I'm on, like, listen, most people cannot understand it. I'm telling you, if you're here, like, this ain't for no reason, mate. My God. So now I'm like, you know, I'm truly thinking life is worth living. Like, and I remember the first thing I did was write. The music was still going. It was going all night, to be honest. I didn't go to sleep until, I don't even know, but it was late. I only slept for like 2 hours. But the mad thing is, guys, it like swirled downwards. So like I had work that very day. I got 31 tattooed as well. Like, the day is that deep. But yeah, that was the last time I worked, but it was like the highest of the highest. And then the low was beginning work, but the work was amazing because the high never ended for me. It still hasn't ended. But after time, I realized, like, it's me that is happy, not being at work. And I just started doing things that made me happy, even if my mother, like, I was okay with fighting her for my freedom. Anyways, look at this. I love this. I always do these kind of paintings. Like, they're just very much my vibe, evidently so. But anyway, especially on shrooms. Oh, I love this one. So I wrote a lot on shrooms. I had a red marker, sat down. This is how much I wrote. Can you see? But it's not that lot. It's not that big. But I was tripping, so I had 3.5 grams. My friend went home and he said after he left, he spiraled. So there's that. Like I said, it brings out what is within. So I wrote for my sober self. I'm telling you, live. So let's see actually what she had to say, because I want to read it with a fresh mind. This is why I wanted to start. And like, the people that have come here, there's only one person I've really been able to share a a lot of this with. Like, nobody said, like, take me through your wall. Like, what is it about? Like, why have you written everything? Why do you have questions? You know? I said, why can't I stop singing? I have loads of questions up, and I want to write this book called Life After Death. I kind of want this whole channel to be about life after death. That's what the divine reframe is, just realizing there's life after death. That's why we get so consumed in this life. Like, we think that it's the end, and it's just not. And the vibrations that I live in physically, you know, even if I'm like an 8, for example, and my environment is a 4, I'm going down to a 6. And that's still, you know, I was thinking, let me go to the lake and record this and all of that stuff, but I'll do the second part of it there. But it was more about, if I can't change my 3D right here, I won't be able to change it out there. And everything that happened to me on shrooms was a result of what I was doing before. He didn't have an ego death or nothing like that. You know, he went home and he said his dogs looked really weird, and he thought the trip had ended, but it didn't end. And he just spent the whole time trying to sober up. And I had the complete opposite. When I told him about this part, I didn't tell him in depth. He started tearing up. Like, that's how I got so much from that one trip. Like, it was actually a heroic dose. And after that day, he told me that he's like in love with me, but he couldn't say that. And I was like, man, if you can't say it on shrooms, you're not gonna say it to me. You have to love yourself first, you know? And it was a repeat of what I experienced with my mother, because again, everything goes back to the root. The universe will force you to address things, and it went back to my mother never being able to say to my face that she loves me. You know, when you become somebody that feels very deeply, or if you've always been somebody like that, you can just tell when people's words are embedded with lies. And it's why when people tell me they want to be my friend, like, I know that I'm real. I just didn't think I was that real to a point where people would actually want to listen to me speak. Like, you know, people actually want to talk to me. Like, that's how bad it can be when you're around the same people, when they're holding on to a version of you, you know, that has never done shrooms. Baby, you ain't never seen me now. There's a reason why I made new social media. There's a reason why I had to go off social media for a year. I can't come home to an environment like that and be trying to do content at the same time. I had to find out, what is it that I want? And I realized it's not this. And I figured it out. And I don't know how I'm going to leap from here to there, but if it takes 6 grams to do that, you know, I've just been around too many people that hide from their parents, from everything. And it's just a reflection of me. Like, how long am I going to hide? How long, man? How long am I going to hide at the fact that I know I'm meant to have billions? Like, bro, this shit is fake, first of all. You know, and like, when you learn about the truth about money, you kind of just don't, like, my brain doesn't want to believe people are that evil. But let's just go on to shrooms. My point is, like, there's no way that my good intentions, like, it just, if people have wicked plans and they come to pass, I can definitely have good plans and they come to pass, right? So if I'm saying I'm making videos about wanting friends and wanting to coach people, and that actually happens, because it has, I shouldn't be surprised, because it's my reality and I can create what I want. It's just that my subconscious was so much what I didn't want. That when it got rewired on shrooms and I realized I don't want to work, I definitely don't want to live with my mother, I want to travel the world, and I need people who are interested in deep conversation. And it's like, I'm finding those people and I'm like, wow, like it was all on the other side of a screen. That's all I had to do. I had to I just had to make new social media. I gave it to the universe. I was like, listen, like I don't have time for fake people. And you know what's so funny? Like a lot of like men that have tried to talk to me, you can just tell when they like your aesthetic more than you. And like, I really thought that I was a bad person for not replying fast. And then I was like, oh, hold up, it's my phone. Whoa, it's my social media. It's me that they're trying to talk to. Yeah, I'll take my time. Or I just will say I'm not interested because there's 8 billion people in the world. And my tomorrow is defined by what I decline today. And I gotta decline some people, baby. This guy casually asked me, I don't ever remember talking to him about just sex on shrooms. I totally want to do that, but with somebody I'm in love with. Do you get it? Like, that's not something casual, bruv. And like, he was just, you know, he kind of just like casually said it in a voice note, like, bear in mind he's never done shrooms. You know, I totally want to do that if you're down. Yeah. I would totally try that if you're down. I'm sure you'd be, because you talked about it before. What? Do I look like somebody you can just ask that? No, nigga, no. And after that, I said, wrap it up, yo. He ain't my level of deep. And then I said, oh my God, what if he sees it? Wrap it up, y'all. It ain't ever that deep. And do you know that I was molded for this shit? That's why I had to deal with my mother first. I'm pointing at my door. That's why because she's, yeah. It feels like warfare once I step out that door. Do you get it? And shout out to the ones who live with family members and have to deal with that. Like, you're not alone. But it's just like, that spun me. I was like, I've known that nigga for a week. Like, people on social media are wild. Like, you can't feel like, you know, sometimes the universe gotta remind me, like, you say you want all this love. How much do you want it, though? You gonna keep texting people who are filling a void with you. You know, they ain't really being serious. Like, but not all men are like that, though. I've made some really cool male friends. Honestly, I really have. But the female friends that I've made, wow. Yeah, wow. I've always had good female friendships, though. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, even the ones that I don't have anymore, they were just very solid. Like, we were very close. Even though it was low frequency. But the ones that I have now are so high frequency because we're the same. So it feels like... And then when they know I'm 20, they're like, you're 20? I'm like, bro, I know. It's actually the best position ever if you think about it. Like, there's so many things that I wish I did and I wish I didn't do. But I'm actually 20. I'm 21 in October. And it's like, listen, it's almost been 12 months since, like, just no more suicidal thoughts and no more multiple voices in my head. Like, bro, I don't have time to waste, especially with people who haven't really found themselves in a way where it's like, fulfillment is what I want, you know? And what's crazy is, because I know I'm always like, you know, I have 200 followers, but like, I'm actually prepared to have a lot of friends, a lot of connections. And I know why sometimes men, they like take the piss because I don't have that many followers. You get it? So they're like, you know, if I talk to her now, right? Like, men are just so lazy. Like, me and this other woman, like, we planned a date. And I was just like, and she thought I was older than her. I was like, I'm older than most people. You get it? The guy that I did shrooms with was 25, and it's like nothing about our relationship was giving 25. Like, and at first he used to kind of make fun of the fact that I was 20. Look at us now. Anyway, my point is that I have met 19, 18-year-olds who are smarter than me. And I've met 30-year-olds who are thick as... The point is, you know, I thought this video would be really unbearable to make, but I fucking loved it. So, for my sober self, y'all. For Big Kimmy. Oh, my inner child talking. You are okay. I love me. I love life. I love trees. Desires are not known. Pain is not your friend. I hate fear. You have to smile. I released my mother's anger. Because I used to get angry and I realized it wasn't even me. Like, I don't... You know what I mean? There's too much. And I said my friend's name. He says, I'm funny. Stay with people that think you're funny. You are free. Joy is on your side. I love you. I love God. I love me. Do not fight. I do not fight the darkness. I love me. It's true. I overcome it. I actually overcame it. Like, I have overcome it. Because it's all... If I've overcome it internally, I have no reason to complain about the 3D. Now it's like me that doesn't want it to manifest in the 3D. Nothing is scary when God is on your side. God is always on my side. Jesus died for me, so I live for him only. This is your first time tripping. Remember one thing. Feel. You must feel. The kingdom of God is really within, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I never felt God more. You see... Let me show you guys this picture so you kind of get... You see... Can you see that one? Where it says... There's like a golden figure behind the person right there. That's what it felt like. I did not feel alone. Every time I'm on shrooms, I just know I'm not alone. I'm like, wow, like, there's spirits everywhere. But I didn't need visuals. I see with my ears. And yeah, when I was 10 as well, I asked for no more visuals. It's almost, you know, when I started learning the root of things, I realized that I had talked myself into this darkness. But it was like also influenced by the voices I was hearing. And could have just been, you know, things, the voices, I was meant to address them when they didn't sound like my own, and then over time they just sounded like my own, and then I started believing them, I started reciting them, and then my 3D became that. And you know, it's not easy to undo 20 years of all of that. 10 years of my words, and then 10 years of my mother's and father's and ancestral and karmic debt and all that. But if all it took was a year, like it's been an actual year of really undoing everything and understanding that it all is a matter of divine timing and activation. Sometimes I just feel like I've gone too far into the future. And I have to have sympathy for people who... Not sympathy. Empathy for people who cannot or just choose not to quantum jump. They like the simplicity of life. But just because I'm deep doesn't mean I've forgotten the simplicity of life. Like, it's the duality of the simplicity of life. And the fact that not everybody has... that simplicity. that I take so lightly. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I stopped writing because, you know, my mum used to read my poetry when I was little, and I used to have diaries. I had so many books, guys. Like, I'm telling you, I used to write stories, short stories, and then I'd hand the paper around in school when I was like 9, and people were like, wow, we need the next chapter, we need the next chapter. Didn't do it in secondary school though, so like high school, didn't do it in those times. People didn't know that I was a writer then because I stopped writing. This is more like inner child stuff. I've always been a writer. It's actually nothing new. Like, when you go back to who you are, I just completely forgot who I was. So every time I'm learning or, you know, doing something new, I'm like, wow, yeah, I've always should have done this. It feels so natural. I feel like I should have done this video ages ago, but I was just delaying the inevitable. Like, now because every video that I've posted, I'm like, I meet somebody and I'm like, wow, imagine if I didn't post it. And I'm gonna laugh now when it's like, imagine if I never made this video, but there's no point in imagining that. I just meant that it's beautiful to know that because of a decision I've made, it's become, you know, a ripple effect, a butterfly effect, and things branch from that decision that's been made, like recording this. And I'm really happy. And if people aren't this deep, they won't find me. That's what it is. That's like, they just won't. And, you know, the people that feel drawn to me will tell me, yeah, I want to be your friend. Yep, I need you to come and stay with me. Like, I need photography all over the world. I want friends all over the world. I want people to come and visit me in London. And it's fully possible to live in my own place. Like, it's my own mind. And, you know, if all it takes is a second for my reality to change, I just have to find my own way to quantum jump, then so be it. Shrooms is how I quantum jumped soon. Shrooms was how I realized life was worth living. It was how I became fully conscious. It was my awakening and my death. It was just a world of realness. I just had never felt like that in my life. Like, I had never felt like everything, I had never felt so sure of myself. I had never felt so right. And everything just felt like it clicked. It wasn't like a scary deja vu. I was kind of in a dream state. I was like, this was all meant to happen. Like, I understand how every decision came to this one. I get it. You know, I wasn't questioning myself or my existence and all those stupid things. I did shrooms on December 31st into January 1st, and I was just on my knees, and I just kind of submitted to the universe, and I was like, listen, man, I've seen the fireworks before. Like, it's beautiful, but I need to see something new now. So I could hear all the fireworks going like, pop, pop, pop. I'm listening to music. It was amazing. Quantum leaped again into the future. Like, I have done so much and I didn't record any of it. And I was like, oh my God, this is nothing new because I've done so much in the unseen. It's been basically my own unseen. I've been the only one to see it. Now you get to know about it. It's also real in your reality, which opens up your mind to a branch of a world you never thought about. Imagine if you didn't watch this video. Like, everything is aligning like this. We're all pieces of a puzzle, and it's just like, what doors can I open for myself just by being myself? It doesn't make any sense about how I start. It's just about how I finish. I'm always judging how my website looks. Oh, you know, nobody's gonna want to coach from me. Nobody's gonna believe that I channel the divine. And, you know, like, first of all, if you're being real, you're gonna attract real. It's when it was the subconscious attraction of fake. But if I've been living with my mother this whole time, then I'm also not gonna question the things in my life that I think are normal until I leave. So I have to prepare myself to leave before I've actually left. Otherwise, it'll be all overwhelming for me, especially if it's been codependency. So it's like the universe is giving me this like foundation where it's like, when we leave, you are not coming back. It doesn't mean that you can't come back. It means that nobody can go with you. See, a lot of us are trying to take people with us. The analogy of Abraham and Lot is the fact that you are trying to take everything with you. You need to part ways, maybe even from your things. And when I do leave, I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna take everything down, take all my books, my poetry and stuff. But I don't know how, like where I'm going, how that's gonna work. I just don't really want to think about that. I just feel like July 31st, 2024, I'm gonna be allowed to like fully leave. Like, it's like about mindset. And I'm doing shrooms. I'm doing the 6 grams on the 14th of July. So that's another thing. There's so many doors opening for me, and it's like, bro, I need to be ready for where I'm going. If I'm saying that I have cafes in all these different countries, if I'm writing all the countries of the world, I need to be prepared for when I fly and I'm like watching Earth from space. Do you know what I mean, y'all? Like, you know, I mean, you might not know, but you know, people have a lot of trips where that happens to them. I've watched some really great videos on shroom trips. If you want any more, let me know. I can totally put some in the description. But there's more, you know, there's more than what we know, and they can try and hide our history, they can try and push us down, but we will always rise. The more they try to kill us, the more are born every day. You know, we think that there is more bad than good in this world, but it's not true. We're just too in the bad, and we see all of this good inside of us and we don't let it come out. A lot of us on YouTube, we say it's just me and God against the world. That's not true. Chosen ones are meant to align with chosen ones. That's the point. You cannot be a chosen one and try to lead your sheep without chosen ones beside you. It took a long time for me to realize that I'm not the only one here. But when I did shrooms, I was like, I fully know that there are so many of us. I remember one time I smoked at like 3 a.m. and I could see the stars. There were so many, and I could see 2 in particular. I was meant to align with this guy, but we were so far from each other. That's what the stars were saying. Like, we are so far. We were shining the brightest as well, but we were just so far. And it was like, we have to shine first to make everything else shine. Like, everything was already shiny, but I could tell what they were saying. Like, not everybody is at 100% yet. And if I just have to let the light shine on me first, if I just had to talk about it just for people to know, then just to attract people who are like me, you know, like, it's not that crazy. 8 billion. No, I feel like my people are there. And every time I believe, like I genuinely believe, before I post something, it always happens. Like, the people always come. Especially on TikTok. But YouTube is going to be a bit of a like different community, a lot more intimate, a lot more real. I've written about technology, like I want to create my own phone. Imagine saying that when all technology is listening, right? It seems impossible to create your own consoles and games and films and movies, but there are 8 billion people. And that just gives me, there are strength in numbers, is all I'm saying. There is strength in numbers. So All I need is within me. I release everything I thought I knew. Wow. And what's so funny is that I know that God is within now. Like, it just makes too much sense. Because he believes in me. God loves me. I can't even begin the words to express how much love I feel, how much I feel. My worries were weighing me down more than I wanted. It always leads back to love. So cute. Like, bro, you get the gist of you are everything I never had. You're the reason I live. I'm real. I can feel I'm alive. You can show me where my heart is. This is not a trip. For you can never look back at your old life. You can never hold in your anger. Wow. How can I say do not see women sexually? It's because, like, the women, like, I love women, but I don't like, I just seeing people feel their body just doesn't really get me. Like, you can be so beautiful and then so horrible on the inside. You know, I need to know what's going on in here. I would love the outside, like, even more, because I know what's within. And most women that I met, it was more, I don't know, like, I just want to be in love, and I will wait until I know what I'm, like, I know what I'm looking for is what I'm saying. I know what I want. Anyway, but I'm surrendering to all possibilities. You get it? I'm not picky, y'all. Anyway. Love leads me through, man. Love actually leads you through everything. And I always do these, like, it's like I knew this whole spiral thing. I'm always doing it on shrooms. Like, I showed you guys that one. Where's the other one? Don't leave me in the dark. This one. But even my friend, like, I've got so many things that he did. Like, I'm really, yeah. This is a lot of just, like, me and Jesus, to be honest. Like, I was, like, saying holy is the Lord and all that. I told you I grew up in the church, so it was just very subconscious stuff, you know? But I was afraid to create, I was afraid to play, I was afraid to laugh. I am comforted. I am one with my inner child. I am one with God. I am so happy. I closed the door on the devil and all of my fears with it, for the root of everything in my heart was fear. I was scared to be free. Woo! She is so smart. I felt like I truly received the Holy Spirit again that day. I was like, oh my God. You know, like, the Spirit of God is so... Anyway. I just feel really happy. And I need to remember that people think I'm really cool as well, you know? Because they fully do, like, they want to actually be friends with me. Like, people actually want to be friends with me. Just because I truly believe we can learn from each other. Just because I don't share, don't mean I'm not spiritual. I say I haven't, like, oh, you know when people... Like, you know when people are just, you know when you just know, I'm sorry, y'all, like, and he's been like, oh, we can learn from each other. nigga, you're at first, like, he looked like he in first year uni. I'm sorry, but it's just, there was a time of my life where I couldn't breathe without Ghanaian men. West African men had a chokehold on me. Oh my God. And you know what? Maybe there's a reason for that, but it's just, get out of my room, get out of my house. I don't ever want to see your face again no more. Get out my house, my house. I walk in so much love. I'm so real, so aware, so alive, that all I will know that safe. It's gonna get better. I have patience to endure. I'll not throw my life away. Oh my God. See, yeah, this is what I'm saying. Woo! I gotta. I just feel, yo, I feel done. I don't know. That's literally the message, that life is worth living. Life is worth living. Why deny? Help feels nice. Men are good. Wait for the one who desires to sing with you. Truth is underneath the skin. You can't put a price on love. Fall in love with them, not their name. You know their name. I didn't even pick that up for, So, I'm gonna wait for the one that wants to sing with me. Whoever wants to sing with me, that's the one for me. Because I don't, it just feels like every time my mom's not here, the first thing I do is sing. I always noticed, it's interesting. I don't know. It's like true joy is when I sing or something. And to be fair, a lot of times when nobody's at home, they sing. When they're in the shower, connecting with the element of water, they sing. It's interesting. And it's amazing to it's so nice to say I don't know everything and that I'm gonna learn so much. I'm actually 20 and I've experienced so much, and just because I wasn't able to talk about that with the people that I knew doesn't mean that there aren't people waiting to talk about things like this. And if I was dying to talk about it, I just have to believe somebody else is dying to talk about it. If you feel led to start your own social media, let me know. I'll subscribe, all of that stuff. It's just time to create our own reality, our own worlds, and I'm just kind of tired of not doing that because of the fear of being perceived. Or I was saying so many things, when I get shrooms, then I'll post. But I've already done that. I am not, the shrooms, the universe ain't trying to repeat no lessons. And obviously they would do it. That's what happens. They will repeat it for you, but sometimes they'll also wait for you to figure it out. Come on now, girl. We've gone to the root of this before. We know that you're beautiful and people want to listen to you. It's your subconscious. And you got rid of the voices in here. Now you have to get rid of the voices in here, in the atmosphere, all of that. And worst case scenario is she finds it and you've already got enough money to move out because you trusted the universe and you embraced the worst case scenario. When you embrace it, it just feels much better. So yeah, I've been meeting so many people and I've been kind of stressing because I want to travel. But if I'm already meeting people in other countries, then obviously I'm going to travel. It's what is your problem? It's because of that survival mode. I feel like I need to run, but I have nothing to run from. And I have no reason to run. I haven't done anything. But it was just that part of my shroom experience that I didn't want to share. And for the past year, I've listened to people talk about their lives, and people are always so inspired by the way that I speak. Like, I know that's why my mother actually feels like some level of guilt. Like, she's not completely venomous. She just bites a lot. And it felt like I was getting ill and all that because I wasn't speaking. I think the reason why I wasn't ill since I have done shrooms was because I was speaking that entire time. Just because I wasn't posting the content doesn't mean it still wasn't coming out of me, right? And after a point, it was like I was seeing life through other people's lenses, but it was only for a time. To get it? In October, I was like, oh God, I want your eyes. Like, that was my birthday wish, because I realized I was living past that date, and I did shrooms, and you know, it was amazing, and I just felt like I got a reset. So for me to, you know, I got baptized, it was great. And like, for me to realize that I am the church, like, that's what it feels like it's been. Like, you have to stop trying to see other people's way of life and assume that's the way your life is gonna go, or even the life that you have for yourself in your head. It's not that it's not gonna happen. It's not that these dreams and ambitions aren't gonna happen. It's that you must surrender these dreams and ambitions. It's a privilege to know your future, especially in a society where you're kind of taught to kind of go as you just go. You know, you're not taught to make a plan. You're not taught how to heal childhood trauma, and you've got to wait 6 months for an appointment if you're in the NHS, if you're trying to get an NHS appointment. Have you had a cup of tea and a warm bath, right? You know, if you really want help, you need money. And like, for a long time, because of that poverty mindset and just house family bloodlines type stuff, you think that there's something wrong with you. Why can't I have any money? And we kind of all just make jokes about it. But the truth is, like, there are other forces holding us back, and there are going to have to be new forces to bring us forward. That's literally what it is. You know, there's still like so much to kind of understand. You know, it's been amazing to watch the shroom trip unfold and to explain to you guys that the only thing, like, I've just realized that I want to be in that state of mind all the time. That's literally all that it is. And you don't have to do shrooms constantly to do it. You have to ascend, but you also have to kind of like raise your vibration from the lowest point. So I had to come back to my lowest point. I had to do shrooms here to realize that you do it anywhere else from here and you will ascend, but understand that you have to literally, like, you are everything and nothing, you know, detach from all that you think you are, your name and everything like that. Allow yourself to be free and roam. You know, 6 grams is not something you take for the fun, and it's different for everybody. I've never had a bad trip, but like, I'm just ready. I just feel ready, and it just feels right. And I remember telling the universe, I know there's another way to get shrooms. Like, okay, you don't want me to pay for them, but like, I'm like, how? And then I hear that, and I'm like, okay, I don't think I'm meant to leave London yet, but I don't want to be here. What's stopping me? You don't have enough connections. Your friends are waiting for you. People are waiting to hear stories like yours. People are waiting to know somebody like you. People need to hear that they're allowed to share their most intimate experiences as well. And you're robbing yourself because of, you know, where you are. These are the cards you were dealt. Does it mean you're going to stay here? Absolutely not. You don't want to stay here. Neither does the universe want you to. But you've got to move things spiritually, move things with your mouth before you can move things, you know, in the 3D. And my heart is set on being aligned with the right people. I am divine. There is a reason she said no to that, and there's a reason that the universe said yes, and the people that I'm assigned to will understand that and respect that fact. Yeah, she suffered enough, like, and I've met so many people that know And like, it's not that hard. Like, it's not even that difficult to explain. It's just because for them, they're like, well, you know, it was just a thought in her head. Like, okay, you know, that's why she listened to my father and not herself, because we trust the voice of somebody more than we trust ourselves. And now this video for you has probably confirmed so much in your life, and you're like, man, if only I listened to myself before. That's what so many people say, like, wow, you're just voicing everything that I want. I'm like, bro, like, so this one video at 200 followers, like, what's gonna happen when I have 2,000, 200,000? And I'm not talking about followers, I'm talking about leaders, interactive leaders who realize, I don't want to live my life like this anymore. I don't know what this is, but I'm not staying here. And a lot of people awaken without mushrooms. You have to remember that. A lot of people come to earth already awakened. When I was talking about my spiritual father, Prophet Lofi, he's already awakened. Like, there's so many people already awakened. But you don't find them if you just keep constantly saying, like, I'm the only one awakened. Like, you're just not, sir. You're not gonna. And you know when people say, like, I want to change the world, like, you can't. No. When they say they want to save the world, you can't save the world, baby. You cannot. Save your sheep. Like I said, I am a leader who raises leaders. So if you're seeing this, you're a leader and you have sheep to save. Before you want to save the world, save yourself. Yeah? And then save your sheep. Then we can talk about saving the world. How about that, yeah? Then we can talk about saving every single person. But believe that the universe has a protocol. Believe that there are forces above you that are working in your favor. Believe that, you know, life is bigger than, and if you have a dream, like, pursue your dreams. Like, man, I told you what I was waiting for, the connections to expand my creativeness and heal others in the process. I've done it. I will tell you guys about, you know, the first half of the shroom trip, maybe when I'm in nature. But I can change my 3D from right here is what I'm realizing. And the next time I'm in nature, I could be in Wales, or, you know, you just have to believe that all it takes is one video, and that I'm entertaining enough to watch, because I am. I feel so, it feels right. It doesn't feel nervous or anything like that. I'm not saying that everything is gonna feel right before you do it. No, I didn't want to do this. It's been a year, y'all. Imagine if we met a year ago. But no, everything happens in divine timing. The question is, what are you waiting for? Put that below. What are you waiting for? What is... And her is my favorite artist, and she said this. She said, your most personal experience is your most relatable one. So I've just, like, shared my heart and soul. I've got to trust that the universe is going to align it with people who understand what I've just said. Because to the average person, that sounds absolutely crazy. You know, hearing voices for 10 years is crazy. I know what to do now. I know who is fake. Like, you sound like a voice I've heard before. Not like everybody, you know, but it's like you can tell the fakes, and sometimes you don't have to try. And you always look for an external reason to cut off somebody when you already know internally you should have done it months ago. It's like, man, what am I doing? Just preventing myself from finding the connections to expand my creativeness and heal others in the process. You know, I need to write that poetry book. I already have it. I just need to put it, you know, in a PDF format for you guys to read, and maybe, you know, like, not maybe, it will end up being published. You know, it just felt like self-publishing was an impossible thing, but that's not true. And who said it has to be that? Like, who said that one video can't open doors for you, you know? There's so many dreams, and I just can't wait to fulfill them. I can't wait to vlog around the world and truly coach people that, like, for a time is what I'm saying. So like I moved to LA and like I coach somebody there, and it's like, you know, we're genuinely friends. Like, that's the problem. A lot of people say don't associate work with play. Like, this is my reality. I can do what I want. I don't have time to have my worth based on paper. It's what's going on within that really counts. Like, when they're really thinking that life isn't worth living, can they think about me and remember what I've said and be like, I'm gonna watch one of her videos. You know, all you need is a friend. And for everybody that's looking for a friend, you know, I am that friend. And it just feels right. It feels good that I did this. It feels good, and I know I will. I just have to set myself up for the future, really, by staying in the present. And I'll record as many videos as I want and as I can, and yeah, I feel good, man. I feel good. So, you know, that's all that I've got for today. I feel done. I feel lighter. I felt bad to talk about a good experience and how much it's changed me. How the veil isn't, you know, torn anymore. It feels like I learn things in increments. It feels like things are going into files in my brain, and I love meditating, and I love microdosing. I love writing and watching other people's YouTubes. I love listening. But I also realize that there's a lot of talking that I need to do. People actually do enjoy hearing me talk. You know, I've been off of social media for a year, so I've heard myself talk for a while now. So I'm like, oh, it makes sense that other people want to hear that, you know. It's not that hard to make money. It's not. But I just wanted to be real and share that with you guys, and we're gonna make this money together. We're gonna rise together. We are leaders. I told you, I raise leaders. And we've got too many dreams to hold back. We've got too many things to go for. There's too many dreams you've ignored now, okay? Too many relationships have gone south because there's a deeper love that you're craving that you're not going to get from the people that you're with right now. And I feel like I'm back in that exact feeling when I did shrooms. Like, it's just pure love. I think that's the 4D, right? It's just, there's nothing else matters but that. Like, there's nothing more powerful. No argument, no negative comment could ever make me want to stop being in that realm of love. Like, it's just so content and fulfilling. It just feels like every argument was worth it to be here. Every painful decision and every person that I blocked, every lesson was worth it just to be right here. And the more that I unpack now, the more intense, the more I'll be able to receive on my next shroom trip, right? But anything can happen between now and then. You never know. Like, I'm just learning to document my life. And since I was meant to have done this a year ago, it's just got twice the sauce. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and share your thoughts below. Let's be friends. We're all leaders, guys. And I know it's hard to find people who are like you, but that's the point. We have to dare to dream to align, that it's no longer money that's holding us back. Somebody knows who we are. and they don't want us to know who we are. But the light always wins, and only love can save us now, not vengeance, not, vengeance is the Lord. Leave that up to the higher forces. Become the higher force. And that's what I've been doing, and that's who you are. What you see in me is already within you. Allow me to bring it out. I'm divine, and this is the divine reframe. That was so sick. Bye, guys.